Did you know that over 15 million Indians travel abroad every year? But in 2024, certain countries have slammed their doors shut for Indian citizens. Curious which destinations are on this list and why? Let's find out. Today, we're diving into an alarming trend, countries banning or severely restricting Indian travelers. In an interconnected world, understanding these restrictions is crucial, whether you're planning a trip or staying informed about global affairs. So why are some nations making it harder for Indians to visit? And which countries are involved? Let's explore. Traveling abroad has always been a symbol of adventure and opportunity. However, recent political, social, and even economic shifts have led to growing travel bans targeting Indian citizens. From political disputes to security concerns, these restrictions not only impact individuals, but also reflect deeper global dynamics. This trend raises a pressing question: are these bans justified, or are they part of a larger, more complex issue? To answer that, let's examine the countries where Indians are currently unwelcome. 10. North Korea. Starting with one of the most isolated nations in the world, North Korea. This country is known for its strict entry policies and controlled tourism, which apply to almost everyone, not just Indians. The government permits only guided tours, and diplomatic relations with India are minimal, making it nearly impossible for Indian travelers to gain entry. Moreover, the unpredictable political climate and lack of transparency in North Korea deter visitors further. 9. Afghanistan, once a cultural hub with rich history, is now one of the most dangerous places for any traveler. Since the Taliban regained control in 2021, the security situation has deteriorated further. For Indians, who have historically been involved in development projects here, traveling is now fraught with risks, including targeted attacks. The Indian government has issued the highest-level travel advisory against visiting Afghanistan. 8. Saudi Arabia. While Saudi Arabia is opening up to global tourists with its Vision 2030 initiative, many Indians still face difficulties due to stringent visa requirements. For certain professions or regions in India, securing a visa can be an uphill battle. There's also an unspoken socio-cultural gap that sometimes affects Indians working or traveling here, despite the large Indian diaspora in Saudi Arabia. 7. Libya's ongoing civil war and political instability make it a no-go zone for most travelers. For Indians who have historically worked in Libya's oil sector, the lack of a functioning government and frequent kidnappings of foreigners pose significant risks. Many Indian workers have been evacuated over the past decade, and the Indian embassy has long ceased regular operations here. 6. Yemen is another war-torn nation that remains out of reach for Indian travelers. The civil war has devastated the country, and the risk of being caught in conflict zones is extremely high. For Indians, the situation is compounded by limited consular access and the prevalence of terrorism in the region. The Indian government strongly advises against any form of travel to Yemen. 5. Pakistan. Relations between India and Pakistan have been strained for decades, and this tension spills over into travel. While some Indians do receive visas for religious pilgrimages or special purposes, most applications are denied due to security concerns. Even for those who manage to visit, strict monitoring and movement restrictions make the experience far from enjoyable. The mutual distrust between the two nations ensures that cross-border travel remains one of the most challenging for Indian citizens. 4. Turkey's inclusion on this list might surprise many. Historically, Turkey has been a favorite destination for Indian travelers, offering a mix of history, culture, and scenic beauty. However, recent diplomatic strains and a tightening of visa rules have made it harder for Indians to visit. Reports suggest longer processing times, increased scrutiny of applications, and higher rejection rates. This shift reflects broader geopolitical tensions, which could impact tourism and trade in the long term. 3. Syria. A land of ancient history has been ravaged by a decade-long civil war. For Indian travelers, the risks here are monumental. Terrorism, kidnappings, and a complete breakdown of infrastructure make it one of the most dangerous places to visit. The country is also under heavy international sanctions, further limiting travel options. 2. Sudan. The situation in Sudan has worsened significantly, with ongoing conflicts between rival factions. This instability, coupled with humanitarian crises, makes Sudan an unsafe destination for Indians. Those who previously traveled for work or trade now face extreme risks, including violence and abductions. The Indian government has evacuated its citizens from Sudan multiple times in recent years, underscoring the dangers. 1. Finally, Somalia tops our list. Known for its piracy and terrorism issues, this East African nation is one of the most dangerous places in the world. For Indians, the risks are particularly high due to limited diplomatic presence and support. From al-Shabaab's control over large territories to widespread lawlessness, there are countless reasons to avoid Somalia altogether. Indian sailors in the region are particularly vulnerable to piracy, adding another layer of caution. In summary, whether due to war, political tensions, or complex visa policies, these 10 countries have made it challenging or outright impossible for Indians to visit. These restrictions highlight the evolving dynamics of global travel and the importance of staying informed. Which of these bans surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below.